So this is the cage. This metal thing is called the cage. These are the rollers. This is the inner race.
Okay.
This in the hub is the outer race.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and say, I've started recording. So you didn't know I was doing that, but Jim's kind of like the pro at bearings and brakes and suspension and all that kind of stuff. And he was over here showing Gino just a couple things. And one of these bearings basically had scarring on it, right? Pitting. So
I'll show you. Look at this.
Gino caught it, but we want to show you so that if you're doing your wheel bearings at home, oh yeah, that one's pretty bad.
This one's worse than the one I showed you.
Yeah. So you see all the scoring on that bearing?
What happens is usually the outer bearings will get this because all we have is this dust cap on the outside and it's not 100% seal. There's no sealant here, and this is a good seal, but it's not 100%. These are
Watertight, yeah.
100%. So if any water gets in, it's gonna get in and gravity's gonna pull it down when they sit for months, and that's when you'll see pitting in the bearings.
In the bearings. So that could even be just from sitting in condensation too, right? From just hot and cold.
I don't know if condensation's gonna get in there, but rain and driving in wet weather will absolutely do it.
Okay.
That's why it's important, if you got beat up grease caps, change them.
Yeah.
Because this is your first line of defense against moisture.
Yep. Exactly. So if you're driving in a lot wet weather, rain, snow, that kind of stuff, something just to be sure on. Very cool. So I just catching up with the guys. They were over here doing a wheel bearing pack and a unit that's outside. Was this on that Wildcat?
This is on the Wildcat.
Yeah. So they were on doing the bearing pack on that Wildcat, and I think you said you found the brakes were all saturated too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Customers really shouldn't be using that grease fitting to grease their bearings.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy to over grease them and not know because you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And then once you over grease it, it pushes past the wheel seal and gets into the brake work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then your brake work's shot.
All right, guys. Well, stay tuned for more. I'm going to head outside. I'm going to go take a look at that unit real quick to show you. They also found, so we're live in a shop, walking around, trying to get out and get away from the radio so that YouTube doesn't ding us for, some kind of sound infringement or whatever. But anyways, out here on this Wildcat, there was also some frame cracks that they found. And so this was one on an earlier video this morning where I was just showing you how the guys pick up the units here on the yard to get the jack stands underneath of them with the forklift. That was this unit right here. You can see they got all the tires all marked and a tire caddy on a cage. And so they found a couple frame cracks in here. And let's see, so there's your brakes. It's got the traditional, here we go. Yeah, see, there's a frame crack for you. So there's that one frame crack. I think they just used these clips to mark it or to show where it was at. Let's go over here and take a look at this side. And there's the next frame crack that's in there. So I'm not sure if the customer's going to have us fix those yet. This unit's actually a 2015, and you can see there's a lot of rust on everything, a lot of rust on the spring hangers and whatnot. So when the guys go back through, it looks like they've already lubed them. They typically go back through and they're rechecking all the torque on all the U-bolts. They're checking all the torque on the shackle links, making sure that they all accept grease and see how everything goes. You can see that somebody's added some pieces across here to help hold up the underbelly, as well as added some like plumber's tape or something. That's not from us, but that's from the consumer. So anyway, stay tuned for more. Here was the grease fitting that Jim was talking about, saying not to add grease to that. You just want to put just a little bit, 1 or 2 pumps. So, all right, thanks so much for watching.